a lot of us, we're like, once again, we're raised brown, Spanish families, black families, and you have a lot of generational trauma that it gets handed down from grandparents to parents, from parents to your own children, and making sure you stop that generational trauma is extremely important. Like, making sure you don't pass that down to your son or your daughter, and that your daughter doesn't have to deal with the same things that you did, I think is the most important thing.
Next topic, boys. Why is it so hard for anyone to admit that they could benefit from seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist? It's a difficulty for people to admit that. Let's get down to it. Why is it a problem for people to admit that? Why? You have an idea?
Unfortunately, in Spanish and brown communities, it's like stigmatized. Even saying, hey, you should get therapy. You can say it in the nicest way, and what? Huh? Me? Therapy? It's like everyone takes it super the wrong way. It doesn't even matter if you're yourself getting therapy and you're saying, yo, therapy is working really good for me. I think you could benefit from therapy. And then they're like, what? Like, no, you need to go to therapy. You're the crazy one. I can't be crazy.
Maybe it's
or mentally ill, or have some sort of issue, anger problems. It all folds, even eating habits, all sorts of things come from mental illness. And just having a conversation with your doctor, and your doctor talking to the psychiatrist and kind of trading off the information and how you feel, it could really help you out knowing the issues that you have.
I think the main reasoning why is because people are afraid to accept it. People are afraid to accept the fact that they do have a problem. It's a difficult pill to swallow too. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, or not pill, but like difficult. I meant to say difficult.
Difficult.
A topical? You said it 4 times.
I was fucking going through it. Difficult time.
Pill.
Difficult time, right? To deal with.
Tough and difficult mixed together. It's difficult.
New word, baby. It's
difficult. New word just dropped.
It's very difficult for people to be like, damn, like, yeah, maybe I do need help, because it's like, oh no, I've been fine. I've been dealing with it. Like, I know how to deal with my attitude, or I know how to deal with what I've got. But truthfully, it gets worse and worse as time goes on, I guess, for some people. And some people can manage it. Some people don't need to go to a therapist or a psychiatrist. But I don't think...
I think that's the other side to it, because like there is definitely like a stigma, right? And I think that it's lessening now. I mean, especially with like the amount of people that like sought therapy during the pandemic, especially with some of these like online mental health things, which have their own pros and cons, right? These like some of these like apps that have popped up offering things like that. But a lot of people feel that they can be therapists, that their friends can be their therapists, that they don't need to go because, I talk about everything with my best friend. So like, that's fine. Or they put themselves out there to be in this position to be like a therapist for someone else. And it's like, you're not trained in that. I don't know if that's the assistance this person needs.
I agree with that a lot. I think people use even their bartenders as substitutes for therapy. And this shit is just, you should not, I mean, I know your bartender is cool and everything, but I do not think you should be taking like that much of a grasp from a bartender, like, about your life and how you should maneuver and
yeah, it's like, are you taking medical advice from your server at the restaurant? They're like, you need to be on such and such for your celiac disease. Like, I think I'm going to talk to a doctor. I don't think I'm going to take that advice from someone that's not trained as a medical professional.
So you're only taking advice from people who have a degree or who's been trained properly in knowing how to do things.
If it's like a mental or physical health level thing, for the most part, yeah. I mean, like, sure, there's some things you can glean from people. Like, I think Doey's shared tips with all of us before for like managing anxiety and things like that. And they're good tips. Like, it is good to do that. But if you're having an issue to the point that you're deploying those techniques like daily or several times a week or something, you should probably also get a therapist. You should have a therapist that you're talking to about these issues you're having.
I was about to say, because the most people who give you advice are your parents. Throughout your whole life, your parents are always going to give you advice or some type of idea or something to do something or how to handle it. So it's just curious, like, you know, like most of the times growing up, you just ignore your parents and be like, yeah, okay, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's different.
Yeah, for it unfortunately for me, it's my parents and their parents. It's even worsely stigmatized at that level. Once you reach like my parents and all the people in their age, and then my grandparents and all the people in their age, it's even worse. You can't even get them to admit something's wrong, and it's almost impossible to convince them to get some sort of help.
I mean, we talked about that kind of last week with our soldier thing, right? Like the shell shock PTSD thing, right? They just called it shell shock back in the day. But there's a lot of mental health things like that. It was just, they just need to buck up. They just need to stop being sad. They like that's all that's going on. Addiction, that doesn't actually exist. That's just someone that's weak and can't handle their alcohol. Like that. These are all like opinions about mental health that people had back in the day.
Yeah.
And we see that with a lot of our old boomer parents now, where it's the same kind of opinion. It's like, oh, you're going to a therapist? Why didn't you just, not be sad about that? Have you tried not being anxious?
Do you trust that therapist more than you trust me? And I'm like,
yes, that's your answer.
That's not the point. But yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, yes isn't how you answer that. I mean, it depends what we're talking about. Like, your therapist is going to be good for anything that's related to therapy. It's definitely going to be more trustworthy than like a parent or something.
Yeah, because it's unbiased. It's not gonna be judgy. I feel like if you tell your parents or your close friends like something, they might be a little judgy behind something. Other than a therapist who won't really judge you, because I mean it's their job not. Even if they do judge you, it's their job not to even let you be aware of the judgment. So it's just like, parents ain't gonna hide their judgments. They might be very vocal with their judgments. So that's why it's better to not even tell half the times like what you talk about in your therapy sessions or whatever, like at all.
I mean, let's put it this way. If you were walking around your house, right, and you stubbed your toe real bad and your pinky toe is like purple and green and shit like that, right? Are you going to go around to all your friends and show them your toe and be like, what do you think this is? Or are you going to go straight to the fucking doctor and be like, hey, what's going on with my toe? Did I break it?
I'm gonna go straight to WebMD and see. Oh, hey, big purple toe. Should I go to the hospital? It's like, you're dying. Yeah, you should go. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll go. No, this is just a whatever the fuck, 3 to 5 days, but it may be cancer. I'll be like, all right, maybe I'll chill in the house. Maybe I'll ride this out. Let's see what happens.
Nah, yeah, I would say get it checked out. If it's, I mean, most of the times. Bro, I've rolled my ankle so many times. Like, it's just
and the point is, mental health is the same as like physical health. It's just it's less visible, but there's still symptoms that you run by your friends, and maybe you should just talk to a professional about it instead of taking that route. It's like tweeting out a picture of something, or like tweeting out. There's better routes for getting assistance when you need assistance.
Was there something funny there between you two assholes? Why were y'all both just synchronizedly laughing when I said that?
Who
Dope Boy and Pucho. I said I rolled my ankle plenty of times. They were like this.
Oh, yeah, that's just funny.
The boot.
Dude, yeah, you had the boot.
Niggas is a word.
Yeah, that's funny.
That I see other people in the boot and I still think of you when you wore the boot.
Did he have the boot where like he couldn't wear socks with it, so he just had his big toe just sticking out of the boot?
I had socks on. That's just disgusting.
No, he used to have socks on.
I was so down for the team. I left to go out with them in a fucking boot. Even though it was the most embarrassing thing to do, I said, fuck it. Pucho convinced me. He was like, bro, who cares? Fucking boot. We're going to have a good time. Meanwhile, it was just a fucking run-on joke almost the whole night. Niggas was just laughing at my boot. Shit was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fucked up. But we enjoyed your company, so...
They enjoyed my foot. That's what they fucking enjoyed. just this man's got a boot. But nah, I think honestly, like I used to look at people who go to like therapy, so I'd be like, that's a little weird to me because back then I didn't younger me fucking like why are you going to someone else to talk to about this shit? Like it's weird. And then people with mental illnesses or like fighting mental problems, I used to be like, bro, I used to say, which was ignorant of me, oh, you're just weak-minded. You have a stronger mental. And it's really not what it is. It's, you know what I mean? It's just, because I had an anxiety attack, a panic attack mixed in together. So that shit really like changed my mindset and changed my life. It's like, damn, like I didn't know how to control that shit. And, buddy of mine's close, very like my brother Everett, he helped me with anxiety. Like he'll, fucking like talk me down. He's like, yo, this is what you do when you get to these points. Like, cause everybody has anxieties. Sometimes it just comes too much where it happens. You have an episode. Mm-hmm. And bro, like I tell you, that shit scared the shit out of me. I thought I was fucking dying. Like that shit got so bad. Like I drove myself to the hospital having the attack and I didn't know what to do. And, yeah, bro, it's just, it's definitely, if you don't know how to handle it, it's scary. But once I guess it's like one of those things, like once you experience it, boom. Like it's now you can just battle this demon and you'll be all right.
It's almost like one of those things too, that like you probably experienced before, but you just had never connected the dots before. I've got another buddy that recently had the similar experience. Like he started having anxiety attacks and he went to the hospital. He thought he was having a fucking heart attack. And they've got him on some medication now and whatever the treatment plan is. I'm not prying too much because it's his health, and I'm also not trying to share his story in full detail on here. But yeah, the medical health professionals, the mental health professionals, they can help you out.
Yeah, and if you haven't done so
that'd
already,
be really shitty. Go ahead, Tony.
If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Share us, follow us. We're on all social media platforms, all audio only. Don't be afraid, man. Give us a shout out, comment. We read them. We laugh at them. We'll even shoot you out, too, if it's just funny enough. Or disrespectful. I don't mind disrespecting comments, too. We'll read them, too. Shit's funny.
You'll shoot them out?
Like, shout out.
He meant shout out, man. It's Tony.
Doy, let the people know where that subscribe button is.
Let them know.
Subscribe button is going to be somewhere over here.
On YouTube, on Facebook, in the corner, everywhere. We're out here.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Pucho? I cut you off.
I was just gonna say it'd be really shitty if like you fucking you go to the hospital thinking you're having a heart attack. Turns out you got an anxiety attack. And then next time you have an anxiety attack, you're just like, oh, I'm having an anxiety attack. Like, I just need to do my breathing exercises, blah, blah. And then you fucking die.
It's a fucking heart attack.
You're having a heart attack. That would suck.
But you won't really know that you're having a heart attack. Like, because heart attack is instant. Like, you don't have that warning. It's like...
There's warnings. It's the shooting pain up your left arm and...
Or your leg, or your right leg, left arm, something like that.
Yeah. My grandfather died of a heart attack, and my dad is so paranoid about this shit. So he looks up, like he knows all the things you're gonna get when you're gonna like experience a thing. So like one time my dad had a stroke, he called 911 for himself. He knew he was having the stroke before it started happening to him because he was like so primed to like he didn't want to go out like that type of thing. Like,
oh shit,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I mean, there is some warnings for those types of things. Like Mateo said, like having pain on just one side of your body could be a sign. I don't know which one, a stroke or heart attack is one of those two. Things like that. Chest pain. If you have chest pain, that's bad. You're not supposed to have chest pain like ever. You either have a breathing problem, so you should go to the hospital, or you're having a heart attack, which you should go to the hospital.
And there's different types of chest pains, people, too. Like some people will get like muscle pains, like that shoot down across your chest as chest pains. It's very different. Like I got an injury in my shoulder and that pain shot down my back, down my arm, and across my chest. It's from my shoulder when I fucked it up. And people can confuse that with chest pains.
Have y'all reached the point in your 30s yet where you have Googled heart attack symptoms? Because like you got like a good workout in, now you got like a pain on your body, and you're like, shit, is this a heart attack?
I've definitely Googled it. I've definitely Googled it.
Yeah, I mean, when I got COVID, my chest I had like a sore chest. I don't know how to. It felt like, you know, when you throw up and like the next 2 days when you breathe, you're like, fuck, all these muscles are like sore. That's what it kind of felt like. And yeah, I was looking this shit up. I was like, is this bad? I had like a little oximeter I was putting on my finger to make sure my oxygen wasn't going below 92% and shit like that. Like, yeah, I was Googling, all right, but am I having a heart attack though? And so yeah, I had just looked this up the other day. So yeah, sad.
I had a pain on my abdomen. Like my abs hurt a lot. And it was like 3 weeks and I could not figure it out. I thought I broke a rib or something when I was coughing too hard or something like that. But yeah, that sucked. I thought I was gonna die. I was like, what is this pain? I said, I can't do anything. I was turning over in my bed and I was like, my ribs hurt.
What I'll
It's an
give,
intense cough, dude.
what I'll give just to be 20 again.
Didn't that
With
turn
no
out to be
pain.
appendicitis?
Who? Doe?
Doe.
No,
Didn't they remove your appendix?
that's this
No,
guy
they
over
removed
here.
my gallbladder. That
No,
was
they removed your appendix, though. On my life, I
how
remember
you telling
had-
Doe about his body?
Yo, he don't remember because I remember this shit. He's not remembering. They removed something from you, bro. I remember you had a pain on just one side of your body.
That's so
and-
please.
Oh, I
And
had
then you went to New York to get a surgery.
umbilical or hernia.
Wow, Doe, I
Alright.
can't trust this nigga
I had
for
a
shit no
hernia.
more.
They had
I
to
remember
operate
he,
it.
he was
had
in
to
Florida.
operate
He
it.
was like, yeah, my father has a surgeon friend, so he flew to New York to get a surgery. I remember.
Yeah, the
that.
guy
Damn.
did the surgery for free.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, the guy did the surgery for free.
Bro,
I
that's
remember Doe
crazy.
lived with this pain for like 2 weeks. He was like, and I could see there was like a lump on his abdomen, and he would touch it, and he's like, yeah.
This was a real surgeon. This wasn't like you went into a warehouse and there was
No,
like
it was
a tape.
this was performed at a hospital. Yeah,
It was a
It
vet.
legit.
It was a vet, Mateo.
Bro, the fact
He was
that
in the waiting room with a bunch of horses and like a cow and some dogs.
the fact that this man knows more about this nigga's body and what got removed is ridiculous to me right now. I had you pinned against the wall where Pucho was crazy, and you was right. Now, I would never ever.
He was talking
discredit
about a
Pucho.
different. He was talking about
I
a
mean,
different
I
surgery.
was wrong about the appendix.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
I'm still on board. I feel like you need to call your dad. I'm like pretty sure you had appendicitis. Like, I remember being scared, thinking like, what? Because if that shit ruptures, you'll die. And I was like, yo, what if that shit ruptures on the flight? He's fucked. Like, I remember
Damn,
being
you could
concerned
you
about
could
this.
literally die from that. There's like no way of like kind of after it blows up, you can kind of get to it and clear it up.
I mean, like, I think if it happens, you have like
little bit of
there's a
time.
window, but I think there's like a lot of toxins in your appendix, and if that explodes, like it basically is like releasing a poison into your system or something. Is what I've
wow.
read. I'm not a fucking doctor.
It's true. I had my appendix out when I was 18. I was still in high school, and maybe I was 17. It was my last year of high school, and I got to the hospital, and because I was a stubborn little 17-year-old dickhead, I refused the wheelchair. So I was like hobbling, crawling, like moving, forcing myself to walk into that hospital. And it wasn't until I was like checked in that I finally like sat down in the chair. But they took me into surgery immediately. They pulled it out. Apparently I was like some amount of time, like hours or something away from my appendix getting to the point that it was going to burst and release these toxins, as like Butch would said, because they get infected basically, right? So they have like pus and all kinds of gross shit built up inside of them.
Yeah, my fucking gallbladder when they removed it, bro. I dropped to my knees in pain. Took me to a hospital. They said, "Oh, I don't know what they said." I went back home. I said, "It, bro, it was killing me." I was like, "Nah, we're going to a different hospital." So we went to the Wellington one, and yeah, they were telling me pretty much, "Yeah, your gallbladder's about to erupt. We're gonna do surgery." So, whatever, they did the surgery. Midway doing the little fucking surgery with just like 2 dots, shit erupted. Nigga, they pulled that shit out. That's why I got a big ass scar. They cut my shit open. They broke my ribs to get it out. Cleaned it up, put it back in. Yeah, shit was beat. Nigga had the tubes going down my nose into my stomach, tubes on my side. It's like a blood bag. Shit was weird.
God damn.
bro.
That's crazy.
The
Mine wasn't that bad.
worst.
I got like 3 little like dot scars on me from where they like filled me up with air and they pulled that shit out.
Yeah, that's what they were supposed to do with me, but nah, that shit didn't happen.
the laparoscopic surgeries.
yeah.
It's like they just it's like these little arms that go into you and they do the whole surgery just like internal, and you get just little slits on your body. So I didn't know that. So you were having one of those surgeries, and then it exploded. That's why you got like the big
Big ass scar.
It looks like an RPG type of scar. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
never
like
knew. I was
an
like,
anime
yo.
character scar and shit. Man.
I thought that was some hospital botchery
It's
shit.
like a big scar that big, and it has like the fucking
Staples.
lines.
Yeah.
like
No shit.
yeah,
it's
it
still
looks-
like
it
it's
looks-
crazy.
it
Like
looks
half
fake.
of it's numb. Like I have no feeling on half of it. It's still fucking like
it did nerve damage.
Yeah, like it's crazy. They
I
told
don't
me
think you could feel scar tissue.
no, like it's numb. Like you can poke at it with a knife and I won't feel it in certain spots.
Yeah, I'm saying I think any scar tissue is like dead.
Nerve
I don't think you
damage,
could ever feel scar tissue. Like I got the scar on my arm. I'm like touching it, but it's kind of trippy. It's hard to know if I'm feeling my finger or I'm feeling my arm. You know, but
No, yeah. Yeah, they fucking
That's
told my
weird.
mom and everything that I died or whatever. They had to bring me back. Shit like that.
Vite.
Yeah.
What did I tell
God
you, though?
damn.
That when it comes to Hispanic people, they just proclaim deaths.
No,
Yeah, I
the
was
doctor
telling
told
people,
my mom that
in
shit.
in the hood, it's regular that they'll just be like, "Yo, ay, se murió el Tony," and everybody in the hood's like, "Ah!" And Tony
That's
didn't
so
die.
beast.
It's just like, "Oh, Tony got hit by a car, but he's actually still alive." But the whole hood thought you were dead and shit.
Nah, and then whenever he came to visit me is when I asked the doctor, I'm like, yo,
Didn't you almost get somebody killed like that for almost hitting you with a car or something like that?
My grandmother almost got somebody killed like that. I got hit by a
No.
car, and my grandmother collapsed into the street talking about the Capucho died. She announced it. The whole hood came out to kill this poor white guy who happened to be driving through the hood, and he hit this, and the whole hood was like, "Yo, we're gonna lynch this motherfucker." He killed this boy, and it was terrible.
That's bees.
You know, there's actually some fan theories out there that the original Tony, he did die during that surgery, and we've replaced him with this
What a
new
clone.
Tony.
Oh, that's when we got the clone.
Allegedly.
Clone Tony.
The alien.
That's beast.
So
That's-
what happened with Ever? When Ever went to go visit you, what happened?
No, ever came visit me. He was just like, that's when I found out that that I did die. They brought me back or whatever, and that's why I had the blood bag. There was never a pain. Ever was helping me trying to walk and shit.
You did die? What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Like I died during my heartbeat stopped. So they brought me back. They hit me with the.
when they were getting rid of your gallbladder, your heartbeat.
Yeah, after they
your
pulled
heart
it out,
stopped?
supposedly. That's what the doctor said.
So you've died twice in your life now.
Pretty much.
You're fucked.
The third one, that's
Times
that's
a charm,
beast.
dude.
That's beast. Maybe I'm like a cat. I got 9 lives, baby. But nah, so whatever. The worst feeling ever is them pulling the tube out of my side. Because it feels like everything inside is getting pulled out. It was the worst pain. And she was pulling it slow. I'm like, just fucking pull it. That bitch pulled it out. You hear like a pop. And then all that blood just came out. I was just like, worst pain ever. I don't. And I told the doctor too, though. I did not want a catheter. I signed it on the paper before they put me to sleep. I said, I do not want a catheter. I don't give a fuck. Let me piss on myself. Do not put a catheter up my dick. Don't want that. I said I don't want that. So I put it on that paper. I signed it. Best believe there ain't no pain like a cat. My dad had that shit. I know people that had that
Oh wait,
shit.
so they didn't put the catheter?
Hell
in you?
no. I
So
signed
you were
that
just
shit.
pissing yourself?
Nah, I didn't thank God I didn't piss myself, but lo and behold, your boy ain't get that. That's one pain I'd never want to feel in my life.
I thought the story was gonna end with him getting a catheter. I thought that like it was gonna turn
Same.
out that like whatever he signed was just him being like high as fuck on whatever drugs, and he just scribbled some nonsense on a paper and handed it to the doctor.
Nah, but shit is the worst. Shit, nah, I don't wish that upon nobody. But yeah,
So
nah,
mental health.
mental health, bro. Go back to mental health. This is all mental health. Nah,
You should get your mental health checked
All
like
day.
anything else. I feel like I just said this last episode, to be honest. But it's like you go to a doctor every 6 months, a year. You go to the
Yep.
dentist twice a year. You go to your gynecologist once a year. It's like same thing. We should normalize like us just getting wellness checks. You just go to see your therapist. You go talk to a therapist, make sure you're in a good headspace. And if you're not in a good headspace, then that therapist should come up with some kind of therapy plan where maybe you go a little bit more often until you get, better or something like that. Same thing a doctor would do, right? If they see something weird, they're going to schedule some more checkups, some more frequent appointments. It should be exactly the same. The mind is more complicated than the body. Like you break your arm, you can see it and you can feel it very apparently, and the mind ain't like that. Like, and the science behind the mind is still very unsettled. Like we don't really know a lot. There's still a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, there's a study. There's a study that just came out that is claiming that like depression is not caused by chemical imbalances in the brain. And a lot of people were spreading this on Twitter. And then there's when you like some people that actually deep dive this like study, or like it's not peer reviewed. It could potentially be a flawed study because of these things. There's still a lot of unknown shit there. Maybe there is less of a link between chemical imbalances and depression as we thought, or maybe this is a flawed study that people need to stop like retweeting and posting before it's peer reviewed and actually published in like better medical journals or something.
What I was reading wasn't so much that there isn't a chemical imbalance, but that SSRIs, which are like some of the medications that you give to people that have chemical imbalances, that SSRIs don't correct chemical imbalances. Is what I thought that the study was saying.
It could be.
It wasn't a study. It was I forget what the thing was called, but it's the one where you collect a bunch of different studies. So it's like They didn't do their own study. They just collected like a whole gang of studies and then started trying to draw conclusions and things like that. It has a different name, but typically those are more credible because they're using a lot of already studies that people have made, and they're trying to come to certain conclusions. My brain ain't working.
I know a certain part of Twitter basically started running with it. Like, see, these medications are bullshit. Take yourself off your medication. I'm like, I don't know that's the advice that we should be giving anyone. Maybe let the discussion between them and their medical health provider.
Yeah,
you're muted, Doey.
Before we move on, just quick, a lot of us, we're like, once again, we're raised brown, Spanish families, black families, and you have a lot of generational trauma that it gets handed down from grandparents to parents, from parents to your own children, and making sure you stop that generational trauma is extremely important. Like, making sure you don't pass that down to your son or your daughter, and that your daughter doesn't have to deal with the same things that you did, I think is the most important thing. Like, before anything else, you gotta want to not behave in that manner for those people. You want to make dealing with yourself a pleasure instead of it being like a hard thing for people to do. And looking at yourself and determining if you're that type of person that is hard to deal with is never easy. But we're all here for you. We're all part of this One Up family. Nobody here is perfect, and we're all just trying to, better ourselves and one up ourselves. And I think therapy is a very good way to one up yourself and evolve and, change those problematic behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
cool. And the word is meta-analysis. Is when they grab a bunch of studies.
Gotcha.
So this thing grabbed like 7 or 8 studies to like make some type of conclusion or whatever.
Kind of like the Jay-Z never actually raps AI. Like,
that's one of my new favorite channels.
It's pretty good.
I haven't seen that.